This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.
Adam Hamilton with you, having a look at this tremendous meeting coming up at Melton's Tabcorp Park tonight. Tell you about some of the other action in harness racing over this weekend as well. Just a reminder though, with Melton, very early start to racing at 5:33. Saturday night we've got a strong program of harness out of Menangle's Tabcorp Park, including a very strong Robin Dundee free-for-all where Caribbean Blaster will take on Mac Beauty, the Gold Ace, for a reason. Caribbean Blaster headed over to the New Zealand Cup on to prepare for that from Monday. That one coming up on November 12. Speaking of the New Zealand Cup, on Monday, the last of the lead-up races, the Kaikoura Cup, featuring the Shane Tritton-trained New South Wales pacer Suave Stewie Lombo, amongst others. That one on Monday around lunchtime. But let's get into this meeting at Melton's Tabcorp Park. We've got 10 races, and I like a few along the way here. Let's get through them with the big card starting at 5:33. In the opening race, well, this looked a match in two, but the scratching of Just Lived Life, who I thought was tremendous winning its heat of this series, really means that Light Jägermeister, despite being drawn wide, probably should just turn up and be far too good for its opposition tonight. It's a heat and final race, came over from New Zealand, was narrowly beaten at its Aussie debut, and then it's gone on to win in fine style at its next three appearances. Light Jägermeister on top for mine. She looks to have a lot more upside than most of her rivals here. Big Z's got a lot of ability, absolutely no luck running third in the heat, and that was a stronger of the two heats, I think, involving Just Live Life. Just Z looks the only danger for mine, if there is one, to Light Jägermeister. Now, Royal Deviate ran fifth in the heat, had to do the work outside of the leader and battled on quite well. And in a race lacking depth, Waterslide is just an average battler, but for Larry Eastman has drawn barrier one, gets Chrissy Elford and might be able to sort of get a cosy run and poke into a minor spot somewhere. But to me, it looks like Light Jägermeister, a big gap to the rest. Best of the rest clearly is Big Z, and then out to Royal Deviate. Light Jägermeister, short but sweet to me, for me to take out the opening race. The Trotters are in action at race 2 at Melton tonight, and this is a good race. But on what we've seen so far this campaign, They Want to Call Me Sue probably looks better than them. Russell Jack has got his team in really good order. They pulled off a plonk with a well-bred and interestingly owned pacer at Cranbourne the other night, and his son Nathan will take the drive on They Want to Call Me Sue. Both runs this campaign terrific. Faced the breeze and was simply too good for a fairly good field at Swan Hill last time at that Naya Cup meeting. They Want to Call Me Sue to win. Number 10, despite the back row draw, it is the mobile which suits it, and I think They Want to Call Me Sue's probably got a bit more upside to it than most of its rivals. Just Call Me Earl. Bit of a tricky one, isn't it, for the race callers here, with Just Call Me Earl and They Want to Call Me Sue in the same race, but I think they're clearly the best two trotters in action. Now, Just Call Me Earl is a bit of a tricky customer to back. Absolutely no luck from three back on the rails last time when third at Bendigo, but that's the story of Just Call Me Earl's career. Tends to get into tricky spots, needs to be driven for luck, but on ability is the clear danger, I thought, to They Want to Call Me Sue. Connor Royal, second at Geelong last start, was quite good. 3 runs back from a spell. Definitely building to something for Danny and Jill Norris. Craig Demler takes a drive. And Monsieur de Ville certainly mixes form, just got too far back at Melton last start and has got to be respected for the minors. But They Want to Call Me Sue probably looks a step above them. 10, 3, 1 and 11. 10, 3, 1, 11 in race 2. Let's go to the third event here, and this is a pretty good race. Regal Knight is absolutely the class act in the race. Absolutely loved the performance when second to Selsmo last time out. We're going to in fact go and have a look at that replay now. Had to do the work outside of Selsmo, who's come out and run a great race at Melton since. Let's pick up the call here. Regal Knight outside of the leader Selsmo, and this was the Regal Knight close to his best. We'll talk more soon.
Leader Salzmo, Regal Knight in the middle and Fearless Leader on the outside. Salzmo, Regal Knight, Fearless Leader. Salzmo just in front. Regal Knight tries hard with Fearless Leader. Salzmo just in front. He pulls out plenty, wins again. Undefeated from 5 starts this season. Salzmo beat Regal Knight and Fearless Leader. Our Nancy Miles fourth. A gap to Jerry Marshall.
Yeah, it was an interesting sort of race. You thought that Regal Knight had Salzmo covered on the turn. Salzmo is a real grinder, just keeps finding under pressure. And you could see Regal Knight's driver look to the outside for the danger, but it was Salzmo who kicked back and won. I think that's a pretty good form race. Salzmo then went to Melton last week, was beaten but went down fighting and goes around in a pretty strong race there tonight. Regal Knight gets his chance. I think he should be better than the opposition tonight. I'm really, really keen on him. In fact, I'm going to make him one of my better bets of the night. Equal best bet of the night for mine. Tara Top Lady's the other class runner. Really good quality mare. Been coming through some of the strong mares races of late. And look, drawing out there is no luxury whatsoever. Regal Knight's got the gate speed to overcome it and get into a forward position. Tara Top Lady can come off the arm quite well, but she won't be able to get across Regal Knight. Regal Knight's got the draw to control the race more so than Tara Top Lady has. Give Us a Grin, very consistent, has terrific gate speed, was a good Melton winner 5 starts back, and has been in probably slightly harder races of late. And Our Call of Duty, form on paper looks absolutely awful, but it's been in stronger races and from barrier 2 can use its gate speed to get into some sort of forward spot. Regal Knight on mine, clearly on top, very, very keen on him tonight. 6 to beat 7, 4 and 2. If you need a little push, Kate Gaffer stayed back at Melton to drive at this meeting, while husband Andy has gone up early with Caribbean Blaster to Sydney. Kate will join Andy up there to drive Caribbean Blaster at Menangle tomorrow night. Pretty good push that she stayed in Melbourne to take the drive on Regal Knight tonight. So that's race 3. Let's go over to race 4, which starts the quaddie. This is the feature. Going to give you a look at the fixed odds market here, the tailor-made Lombo feature for the mares, and it's a really, really interesting betting race. Shake It Mama, well, she's not the mare that she was when she was younger. Let's have a look at Shake It Mama's replay. She ran a really good third last time out at Melton. Now, she's in front. Most times you would expect her to win, but she'd spent a heck of a lot of petrol to get there. Let's have a look. Gavin Lang's sitting pretty at this stage on Shake It Mama, but she has used a lot of early petrol.
Straight Saab Quality tries to lift. Illawong Kathy inside. Shake It Mama, Saab Quality, and here's Stylish Jasper at odds. Stylish Jasper out wide, flying home and won it. Stylish Jasper beats Illawong Kath, Shake It Mama, Miss Precious Mark and Saab Quality.
Yeah, it was a bunch finish there. She did spend a fair bit of petrol to get to the front. She's a clear favourite. She will be in front, barring a huge surprise here tonight. She's got the gate speed to get across. Miss Precious Mark and Fairest One You Are inside of her would both want to take a trail anyway. $2.10, probably a little too short for mine. Broadway's Best is the class runner, one-time champion mare in the twilight of her career. Talk more about her shortly. She's at $3.40. Better Give It at $6 is drawn out wide, but she's a stablemate of Shake It Mama, racing in really good heart. And Born Again Sassy's tremendous odds, but that's because of the barrier draw. She's drawn inside of the back row at $12. Take you through them now. We've spoken about Shake It Mama. I'm putting her on top. I don't want to take the $2.10. Now, Broadway's Best has been freshened. We haven't seen her since she beat a similar field at Melton back on September 13. She is a class mare. She's got gate speed, but she has drawn out in barrier 7. Better Give It was tremendous in that race against Broadway's Best back on September 13. She's been racing really well since. She was a strong 5th at Swan Hill after doing the work outside of the leader last time. And Born Again Sassy, well, she ran 3rd against the big boys in the Popular Arms Sprint last Sunday at Kilmore behind Catch Your Breath, a race that featured Smokin' Up, 5-Star Anvil and others. She has drawn inside of the back row. She's going to have traffic issues, and that's why I didn't put her more prominently. 3 to beat 7, 6 and 8 in the tailor-made Lombo. Really good race. Race 4, first leg of the quaddie tonight. We go over now to race 5, and this is a race where I'm going to look for a little bit of value. I love the job that Sean Kittle, the trainer of the new trainer of Jazz King, has done with this pacer. Former really good quality juvenile. He's been able to resurrect Jazz King and get Jazz King to win 6 races on end. Narrow winner last start, racing in great heart, has the front row draw and will be a dominant favourite, probably odds on. But I'm just going to look for a little bit of value here. I think that Wartime Sweetheart, this is the horse that raced against Smokin' Up and Caribbean Blaster, ran second to Smokin' Up, beat home Caribbean Blaster only 3 starts back. Went to Kilmore in that Popular Arm sprint, hit the line absolutely hard held with nowhere to go last Sunday, and I'm going to go for the value. I think he is absolutely airborne at the moment. He can sustain a long sprint. David Aitken's got him flying, and he gets into this race superbly graded in an M1, M2, thanks to the junior driver claim of Reece Nicholson. I like him on an each-way basis. 9, Wartime Sweetheart, to beat the hot pot Jazz King, racing in great form, but as every win takes him to a new grade, it's going to get harder for him. Number 10, the Phantom, is the interesting runner. Former really good quality pacer with Karen Manning. He was very competitive in a Chariots of Fire series and final going back a few years ago. He's had all sorts of issues since. He had 3 runs in a mini campaign that ended in February of this year. We haven't seen him since. Can't find any trial form, but on quality alone and the fact that Karen Manning has them ready, he's got to be respected at his racetrack return. And because I Can's form on paper looks dreadful, but he's got really, really good gate speed and he is down quite significantly in class in this race, he's got to be respected as well. I'm keen, really keen, each way, number 9, Wartime Sweetheart on an each way basis to beat the favourite 4, Jazz King, next best 10 and 7 in race 5. That's the second leg of your quaddie. 9, 4, 10 and 7. Let's go to race 9. This is the Trotters free-for-all tonight, and anybody who saw Kai Valley Blur show good gate speed, work to the front, and get to the race and get to the lead and be able to beat Elegant Image last time out would certainly be keen on his chances here. He's not going to be able to run across and get to the front, but he's certainly got a tremendous chance here. We're going to go back and have a look at his replay, Kai Valley Blur. Now, there he is in front. Elegant Image, the star trotter of the moment, sitting outside of him. Remember that Kai Valley Blur was first up in this race and Elegant Image was race fit. Here's Dan's call.
Kai Valley Blur got a metre in front of Elegant Image. It's Kai Valley Blur, Elegant Image trying to reel it in. Kai Valley Blur, Elegant Image, they're locked together. Elegant Image coming at Kai Valley Blur. Kai Valley Blur, Elegant Image, they're going to hit it together. I think Kai Valley Blur. I think Kai Valley Blur knows Elegant Image.
Yeah, well, he's the one that I'm keen on, Kai Valley Blur, in race 6 here, the Trotters free-for-all. He's an outstanding trotting prospect. He's always been held in high regard by trainer Chris Lang Sr. Chrissy Alford takes the drive. He's an American bred. He's needed time, but I liked it. We saw a different side of him used off the gate, beating Elegant Image there. I think he's even better when he can be driven back in the field. He's got a tremendous turn of speed for a trotter, and also that speed that he can sustain for quite some time. Kai Valley Blur on top. He's my absolute bet of the meeting. I think he'll just win, hoping for around about the $1.80, $1.90 mark tonight. Brief glance as a former top juvenile, Vic bred winner. What about the speed that he showed? He got out of a tricky spot and mowed down Retain to win last week under a hold. He's absolutely flying, but he's one-dimensional. He needs a cosy sit and to get out late and use his sprint. Cold Sister, he might sit behind the leader here. Cold Sister's got really good gate speed. First up from a spell, she can be competitive in this class. And Tended On is racing in sensational style. Kari and Paul Males have done a great job with this old stager, and they've got him back racing in tremendous style. He's just not well suited over the 17-20 metres. He'll be slow away. He'll have to do a lot of work, but I'm sure he'll still be there at the finish. I'm keen, though, a standout from mine. The class trotter could end up the best trotter in Australia soon, Kai Valley Blur. 8, 1, 2 and 7 in the feature trot race 6. That's the third leg of the quaddie. Let's have a look at race 7, the last leg of the quaddie. Good race here. It's a heat and final, the final of a heat and final series, I should say, and the standout performers for mine, Sells Mo, that horse who we showed you the replay of, leading and beating Regal Knight at Ballarat a couple of starts ago. He came out and he was beaten in his heat at Melton last week, but he went down fighting. He copped a lot of mid-race pressure from his main danger tonight in Hugo Play. I still think they're the key runners, and and he's going to be hard to beat tonight, Selsmo. But I don't want to be on at short odds. I'm going to give Hugo Play another chance. He came across from Tasmania in tremendous style. He raced so well. He was a little disappointing last week, there's no doubt about it, and he'll have to do a lot of work again tonight. My theory, whatever he did last week, he can improve on, and he'll need to, but he can on what we've seen previously. I like Hugo Play on an each-way basis despite the wide draw to beat Selsmo, who is so honest. So he's such a fighter, Selsmo. He's going to be hard to run down again. Empty Envelope is an absolute barrier one, trail along specialist and can run a cheeky race at big odds from the pole. And Sterling Point came along and beat Selsmo and also Hugo Play here last week in a welcome return to form. He did cause the upset, but he's got to be respected if he can reproduce that performance. 7 to beat 4, 1 and 6 in the Melton final, the Tabcorp Park Melton final after the heats we saw last week. 7, 4, 1 and 6 in race 7. Another final of a heat and final series is race 8 tonight. Now, the qualifiers for this were run at Melton last week as well, and we saw most of them in action against Shifty Shivers. Shifty Shivers is in the mix here again, but probably right run, right spot, right time. There's nothing between 4 or 5 paces in this final tonight, and I'm going to go with the Kingston Flyer. Really liked the performance behind Shifty Shivers. Ran second, first up from a spell. Raced a little erratically and greenly at times last week, and I thought did a very, very good job to get in there behind Shifty Shivers to run second. So I'm going for number 8. It will need a little bit of luck from inside the back row, but it is it's a very open race, and I think we're going to get probably attractive each-way odds on the Kingston Flyer here. Don't know what to make of Batowitz. A Breeders' Crown Repechage winner of last season. Looked as though he was set for a good 4-year-old campaign, but he's been a bit costly at times. There's no doubt on his best form from barrier 2 now with the scratching of Bank of Nova from 2. Batowitz has got to be in the mix, but I'll tell you what, I'm running out of patience with him. Metro from L had absolutely no luck when 5th to Shifty Shivers last week, and you've got to include Shifty Shivers. It was a good enough performance, even though I said it was probably right place, right time in the run last week. 8 to beat 3, 10 and 4 in race 8. Over to race 9. This is a claimer, and I'll tell you what, Smudge Bromack will be very, very happy that he hasn't got to face Catch Your Breath this time round. He's been against him in most of his recent runs, and he's simply not been good enough to beat Catch Your Breath, but he's had to do the work and try and beat him, and paid the price for that. I think he's really well suited. He ran against Catch Your Breath when he finished 8th in the Popular Arm Free-for-All at Melton last Sunday. This is a monstrous drop in grade. It's about 5 drops back in class on that run at Kilmore, and I think he's going to be hard to beat. Here's the queries. He doesn't like doing the work in his races generally. He'll probably have to do it again from barrier 7, and I'd prefer him over 2200 rather than over the 1700 metres. That said, surely he's simply better than the opposition he faces tonight. Wash Me Pockets is a shadow of the horse he was about 6 or 8 months ago, but he did enough when he was 3rd after doing the work at Kilmore and a claimer last week, and on that performance should be in the mix. Number 6, Mr Grizzly. Don't know what to make of him. They backed him as though he was absolutely unbeatable in that claimer at Kilmore last Sunday, and he sat midfield and he was really never a chance. So I think he's one-dimensional. He's got a lead to have a winning chance. He's got blistering gate speed when he's on song. You've got to put him in the mix again. And number 1, Give It a Name, in a much easier claimer than this. He sat 1-1 and got the job done to win a claimer at Cranbourne. But as I said, this is a much stronger race. Pretty keen on the 7 here, even though the 1700 trip doesn't really suit. 7 to beat 5, 6 and 1 in race 9, the claimer. Let's go to the last now. This is not a strong race, but on face value, what we saw of Woodley Bow in only his 2nd start since coming from New Zealand makes him the one to beat. It was great to see Brian Gath on him last start. Armoured Tamer takes a drive for trainer Ali Quace here, and Woodley Bow looks to be a pacer with a bit of upside in a small field, and a field, to be honest, lacking depth. Alessio's Falcon and also Black Warrior probably look the main dangers. Let's get into the selections. I'll put Woodley Bow on top. He led, bolted in his 2nd Australian start, landed some decent bets there, and he looks, well, if he runs up to that, he's a one to beat again. Maybe because Black Warrior, 2nd up from a spell, he led and he was run down. Gator Pulicino trains. Darryl Douglas took the drive. Led run down at Cranbourne last time. Not sure whether he'll want to hold the front or take the trail on Woodley Bow here, but he probably looks the main danger from the pole. Alessio's Falcon was a strong favourite when second to the talented but headstrong Blissman at Maryborough last time. That's no disgrace, but he has drawn the outside barrier in 6. And Countdown was a strong Kilmore winner last time, but this is a harder race for mine. I put them in 2, 1, 6 and 3. 2, 1, 6 and 3 in the last of 10 at Melton. Let's get into my summary of the meeting. Pretty keen, as I mentioned, on a couple on the way through. I think that Kai Valley Blur will win the feature trot, the strongest of the trots tonight. Race 6, number 8. Back row draw doesn't bother me. I actually think he's an even better trotter when he's driven sit sprint, which he probably will tonight. If they slacken off, though, he's good enough to come round and sit parked and still win. Over to race 3 now for my value. Not so much value as it is second best bet of the night. Race 3, number 6, Regal Knight. Dropping down in grade. If he's got to, he can sit parked and win. There's some sort of chance with his gate speed he can work forward and find the lead. Race 3, number 6. Let's get into the quaddie now. Pretty keen on this. I'm not going to go for big value. I'm going to try and get a big slice of it. $36 I think might be able to get us a full 100% here. In the first leg, which is race 4, I'm popping in numbers 3, 6, 7 and 8. Shake It Mama, Better Give It, Broadway's Best and Born Again Sassy for the value. 3, 6, 7 and 8 in the tailor-made Lombo for the mares. In the second leg, numbers 4, 9 and 10. The odds-on favourite Jazz King, Wartime Sweetheart number 9 and the Phantom, who is a query runner first up, number 10. Over to the third leg, race 6. I'm going Kai Valley Blur one out. If he's my bet of the night, I'm banking on him to win the feature trot race 6. And then in the last leg, I'm going to come home as a potential upsetter, empty envelope drawn the pole, and the 2 other key runners for mine, 4 Selsmo and 7 Hugo Play. 1, 4 and 7. Really good program of harness racing at Melton tonight. As mentioned, it gets underway at 5:33, the first of 10 races. And don't forget all of the other action in harness over the weekend. Terrific race, the Mount Eden Sprint at Gloucester Park tonight, featuring I'm Victorious, Dasher VC. They're the 2 glamour runners of the race. The big one, the Robin Dundee Free-for-All at Menangle tomorrow night. And then into a great day of seaside racing. Yes, seaside it is for Kaikoura Cup Day over in New Zealand on Monday. You'll catch all of that action across Sky 1 and Sky 2. Good punting over the weekend.
This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.